And that is why there are gaps in such laws where the judges can veer out of the codes and travel to other climes and import those laws where we have relationship with them too. So for now, I think the laws we have are fair enough. Of course, there is room for improving them, but the ones we have, in my view, are fair enough. But the main thing we need is the implementation, fair and adequate implementation of those laws. I even think that some of the laws are beginning to clash. For instance, the EFCC, the ICPC, I honestly think that one agency can combine those two functions and play effectively. If we have, after all, most of the staff of EFCC are drawn from the police. And police have either criminal code or penal code that are there for them to implement. And if there are economic crimes, yes, those economic crimes can be codified as done in the EFCC Act. And the ICPC can be combined with them. We can move ahead with the set of laws that we have. Finally, you took me on the delay in getting justice. I have addressed part of that earlier on in the course of my response. I honestly think that justice delayed is justice denied. And it injures people. And when it injures people, they are tempted to take laws into their hands. So it is not healthy for our society. The earlier we're able to address it adequately, the better. And if I have the privilege to do this, I will do all I can. Several things I'm going to do. Number one, that is why I like this Administration of Criminal Justice Act. It's an excellent law, bearing a few things that needs to be worked on. After all, no law is perfect. But for that law, you can get into a criminal trial, and within 3 months, you are over. But it takes 3 critical stakeholders to work in harmony to make that happen. 1, the judges. 2, the advocates. 3, the prison. Sometimes you get to court and the prison authorities say they have no fuel in their truck to bring the suspect to the trial. After a suspect has waited for trial for more than 3, 4, 5 months. I had one recently in which I provided money for the prison authority to bring the accused person to the court, and they said no. There was no fuel at that time, fuel shortage, so I provided fuel, bought jerrycan full of fuel, and sent them to the prison for them to bring them. They said no, they wanted cash. And so there are many things that we need to do to expedite justice in our nation. Thank you, sir.
Senator.
My name is David Umaru. I represent the Niger East Senatorial District. Mr. Nominee, just one little question. I know you have been in practice within the Federal Capital Territory, and I know you probably have had cause to witness the plight of the indigents of the FCT. We have had some protests in the past whereby they were asking that their plight be addressed. We have seen policy somersaults with regards to the resettlement and compensation of the original indigents of the FCT. We know the constitutional provisions that relates to such an issue. What will be your attitude if you are confirmed and placed in a position where you would need to address this issue and have it settled once and for all? What would be your attitude and your advice to the President in respect of this outstanding, long outstanding matter? Thank you very much.
Senator Joseph Ledani.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Joshua Lidani, representing Gombe South. Mr. Nominee, I would like to ask your views about the issue of plea bargain. It has become a very controversial issue, especially in recent times. Should plea bargain remain in our status books, What is the advantage in having plea bargain? Should it continue to remain in our statute books? Plea bargain. Yes. Should it be abolished, or should it be reformed in some way as a part of our criminal justice system? Secondly, the Supreme Court has been complaining about the workload. The pressure of work is becoming very unbearable, and considering the number of Supreme Court judges we have, we find them dealing with a lot of cases. There has been some views that the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court is too large, that there should be a revision on the jurisdiction of the court so that some cases do not need to go to the Supreme Court. Interlocutory appeals do not need to go to the Supreme Court. What is your view about that, and what do you think you can do if you are in a position to influence the course of justice? And then thirdly, you have been in practice for quite a number of years and you have attained the rank of senior advocate. In the course of your practice, what case do you think, because maybe due to its complexity, that you've handled, that you think that you can recommend as a locus classicus that has found itself in the body of our case law, that you feel has really challenged your skill as a legal practitioner, that you like the legal profession to know about, so that lawyers, young lawyers, can benefit from it? Thank you.
Senator Isahama Misau.
Thank you, Mr. President and Chairman. I'm distinguished Senator Isahama Misau, representing the good people of Bauchi Central. I want to ask you a question as a possible Minister of Justice. Many critics have described Nigerian anti-corruption activities as a mere media show. How can our anti-corruption war change from media trial to actual trial that may then serve the cause of justice? Then the second question, an efficient justice system is required to, an efficient criminal justice system is required to ensure the smooth running of any nation and is fundamental to the maintenance of law and order. Nigeria, however, has obvious loopholes in this regard. Kindly let us know the reforms you will advocate for and drive as a possible Minister of Justice.
Senator, if you take those questions.
Distinguished Senator David Umar, you asked a very biting question concerning part of your constituency, the FCT, concerning the plight of indigents of FCT, which apparently has been a long-standing issue. It's true, I practice within the Federal Capital Territory, but I also cover, in fact, every part of the country. And I agree that the issue touching on the indigents of the FCT has not been exhaustively dealt with. I do agree with it. But I think that it is no longer helpful to treat them in piecemeal. That's my very candid opinion. I believe that it is better that these hallowed chambers, which also serves as the law-making body for FCT, needs to enjoy the benefit of a bill, maybe privately proposed, maybe government proposed, to address not just the status of FCT, which appears to be settled,